This video is brought to you by Battlezoo Eldamon, coming soon to Kickstarter. This expansion to Pathfinder 2nd Edition and D&D 5e is a Pokemon-style rule set that includes two new classes, Eldamon Trainer and Elemental Avatar. Battlezoo Eldamon is coming to Kickstarter on July 26th. Hey everybody, Dave here with another Pathfinder rule reminder for you, and today's topic is about precious ammunition, or ammunition that is made from precious materials like cold iron or silver or adamantine or any of the other different precious materials that are in the game. And the question that I was asked was, do they exist? If so, how much do they cost, and how do they function? So first off, yes, they do exist. You can get arrows or crossbow bolts or bullets that are made out of silver and cold iron and all the other different kinds of precious materials. The passage that relates to them is found in the section that's all about crafting weapons from precious materials. If you look at the very last sentence, it says to determine the price of 10 pieces of ammunition, use the base price for a single weapon without adding any extra for bulk. So for example, we take a look at the cost for creating silver weapons. It says it costs 40 gold plus 4 more gold per bulk. And you would use that when you're crafting a sword or a warhammer or some other large weapon. But when it comes to creating a batch of ammunition, it's going to be just the 40 gold. You don't add anything extra for bulk, and that's going to be for a batch of 10. So if you wanted to make 10 silver bullets, the cost would be 40 gold for the batch of 10 or 4 gold per bullet. So yes, this is going to be fairly expensive early on, especially. 4 gold for a weapon or a one-use consumable item is pretty steep. And yes, by raw, every piece of ammunition, once it is used, it is destroyed on use and cannot be reused. So yeah, 4 gold for one special arrow or bullet or what have you is pretty steep in the early levels, maybe not so much later on, but there are some alternatives you might want to consider. And the first of those is going to be Silver Sheen. And actually, Silver Sheen and Cold Iron Blanch are both functionally the same. Just Silver Sheen, you pour it over 10 pieces of ammunition, and it gives them the silver property, I believe, for the next hour, as long as you use those pieces of ammunition during that time. And Cold Iron Blanch works the exact same way, it just makes your ammunition have the cold iron property for a limited amount of time. Now, another thing to consider, again, is the high cost of ammunition that's made from precious materials. GMs may want to work with their players and find ways to navigate around the hard rule that says that ammunition is destroyed upon use. For example, if you have an adamantine arrow, does it make sense that it would be destroyed on use? It depends on how you view that arrow. If you view the entire arrow to be made out of adamantine, then I guess it wouldn't make sense. If you view it as just the arrowhead is made out of adamantine, then it makes total sense that the arrow would be destroyed on use, because even if you miss your target, if that arrow hits a wall, the wooden shaft is still going to splinter and break. So long story short, I would say if you're a GM and you got players who are very interested in using arrows and bolts and other pieces of ammunition made out of precious materials, maybe you work up a system where, yes, the piece of ammunition is destroyed, but you can salvage the arrowhead, and that will be the cost of the precious materials and so forth when you make your next batch of arrows. Another rule that's common not in Pathfinder 2nd Edition but in other D20 role-playing games is to simply say 50% of all the arrows you fire, all the ammunition you use, you're able to retrieve. So if you fire 4 arrows during an encounter, as long as you have time after that encounter to walk around and search the area, you could reasonably find 2 arrows that you can retrieve and use again. GMs might want to use either of those rules, or maybe a combination of the two, and say you have a 50% chance of finding the arrows after you fire it, and even when you do, the arrowhead is what you're salvaging and will still need to be fashioned into a proper arrow to use again. So that's it. That's Precious Materials for Ammunition, how it works in 2nd edition. If you have any questions about that, please leave them in the comments. If you have any suggestions for future rule reminder videos, please leave those in the comments as well. As always, I will leave in the description any links to my other videos that might be related to this topic. If you want more information, make sure you check out there. And as always, I want to say thank you to everybody out there who supports me, whether that's by clicking the like button, subscribing to the channel, subscribing to my Patreon, sharing the videos with your friends, buying a super thanks. It all adds up, and I greatly appreciate what the community does to support me. So with that, thanks for watching, take care, and happy gaming.